Hello, art people! Welcome back to the art room. I hope you guys had a great summer. It's so great to have you guys back here. I can't wait to hang out with you while you complete a lot of different fun and exciting art projects this year. But before we get started with our projects, we need to go over all of our art class rules and expectations and procedures, because we're only going to be able to have a super awesome fun time if we follow the art class rules, expectations, and procedures. If we don't follow those, then we're not going to have a great time. So these are going to keep us happy and safe and learning. That's what our goals are here to do. There's 4 rules for every single part of the class. There's a P, A, W, and S rule.
That spells pause.
So these are the entering rule, the watching and listening rules, the working rules. So this is our flea map here. It's a flow map at top and a tree map as you go down. So go ahead and get your highlighter.
And let's talk about your expectations for entering.
So you get to skip this part here. This is K with 1 and 2. You're a third grader this year, so you get to go to the 3rd grade expectation. If someone is in your seat, say,
"Excuse me, I think that is my seat."
If that doesn't solve the problem, then you can come tell me. That's how we're going to be positive and kind to the teacher and the students when we enter into the room. So now you can highlight this part of the box, the part that says 3 through 5 and all the words after that. The next rule we have is what? Act responsibly. Good. And what does that look like in art class? Stay on task the whole time. You can come get a hug before going to your seat if you like. So highlight that. Please do not talk to your friend before class, just go to your seat. Highlight that as well. So you don't go to your friend's seat first and talk to them and then go to your seat. You go straight to your seat. That's your task. And then it says to circle your feeling. So this is talking about our check-in cards, which are new this year. Once you get to your seat, you will take the dry erase marker that's on the side of your table. Then you circle with the dry erase marker how you're feeling. Unless you don't want to tell me how you're feeling, then you can just circle this blank. This says, what would you like Mrs. McFarland to do about your feeling if it's not yellow or green? If you're one of these, you'll check the box of what you want me to do with that information. Let me take a little break here at my studio seat, which is the seat that you're at right now at the gray tables. If I need to just leave you alone, that would be really useful to know. If you want to come talk to me about what happened and what upset you, and maybe get some advice and maybe get some encouragement from me, check that, and then I'll let you come up and talk to me. And if your feeling changes throughout the class, you can erase with your finger, your dry erase circle, and change it. The next rule in class is what? Work and play safe. That's right. And how do we work and play safe in art? Use the supplies how Mrs. McFarland does. Right. Well, this is essentially
What you're doing with your hands and your feet.
the act responsibly is.
What are we doing with our brain?
The practice positivity is what.
What are we doing with our heart?
Highlight this top sentence here. It says walking feet facing forward. And you can highlight the little legs. And actually you can go up here and color the hug picture with your highlighter.
So you're not walking in backwards. You're not walking in sideways. You're not like racing into the art room. We don't want 2 kids to be in the doorway at the same time and get stuck.
Just wait for the person in front of you to walk through, and then you can walk through the doorway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can skip this part that says K in 1, hands folded. 2nd and 3rd graders, you're gonna walk in, you have options. You can have your hands folded, or you can have your hands in your pocket, or you can have them at your side, and those are your options.
So this is not an option.
And then once you get to your seat, you're gonna have your hands still. So again, this is not an option at your table. You have to have your hands
still, either on the table or in your lap.
Highlight this middle section, and then you can highlight your pictures. Hands in your pockets, hands folded. There. Good. What's the next rule? Show respect. Show respect. What does that look like in art class? We are quiet or silent when we are working on art. We show respect with our voice level. We use an appropriate voice level. That's how we respect everybody in the room. We're not going to be screaming when it's quiet time. That's not respectful of other people's area. We're trying to create a nice, relaxing environment for everybody. That's how you show respect to everybody, that you participate, making the art room enjoyable and pleasant. If you're not at the right voice level, then you're completely shattering the relaxing effect that the art room can have, and that's not being respectful of everybody else. So 2nd and 3rd grade, your lips need to be together when you walk into the room and sit down. Highlight 2 and 3 lips together. You can color in the little guy with his lips together and the top of the stoplight because you're at a voice level 0. Okay, good job. So what's the next part of art class? Yes, watching and listening. That's right. So these are your facial expression options, because remember, this is how we're going to be kind to the teacher and the students. We're not going to watch and listen but like this. Is that very kind?
No.
No. So these are your facial expression options. So let's make them. Okay, let's make happy. Good job. Color that one. That's an option. Calm. That's an option. Or if you're really focused, that's okay too. Now, sometimes we can't help, if we're feeling really upset, we can't help that we're like, maybe you have been having a bad day. Before you came to art class, you just kept getting in trouble, maybe. So maybe you're just in a bad mood. That is okay. You just are going to try to have a happy face. I'll help you try to get out of a grumpy face. We'll work on it together, getting you into these happy, calm, or focused facial expressions, okay? But this is our goal. All right, what's the next rule? Act responsibly. Good. You're only going to start using the supplies if I've instructed you to, and I'm also using the supplies. So highlight this. You're really just listening and thinking about what's going on. You can color her in. Okay, what's the next rule? Work and play safe. Good. Hands are still, they're in the lap or on the table. So your hands still haven't moved from when you've entered. What does this say up here? Eyes on board. You can highlight all that. Good. What's our next rule? Show respect. Yeah, and we can go show respect. So we're just at a 0 here still. This says voices are off so all the students can hear and learn. Unless the speaker asks a question, then you can answer. Or if there's a song or a chant, you can sing or chant along. So you can highlight all of that. Okay. So after we're done watching and listening, what comes next in art class? Working. Yeah, now we do our art. This is where we work on our art. So how can we practice positivity and be kind to the teacher and the students and use our heart during work time? If you like the art lesson and you are enjoying what's going on, that's something that you can tell your table about. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you don't like the lesson, you don't need to say,
I don't like this lesson.
That's not very kind, is it? That's not using your heart. Now, that being said, if there is something you don't like about the art lesson, you can turn your car red and then I'll come over to you and I'll say, how can I help you? And if you're like, hey,
I'm not a huge fan of this.
like, you can tell me. For instance, if we're cutting out ice cream scoops and you're like,
I'm not into this. I have really big hands and you've given me these tiny scissors and it's hurting my hands. I'm cramping up.
you can tell me that because I will have something that helps you with that issue. Whatever issue you have with the art lesson, tell me, because I might be able to solve the issue or help you think of a way to solve the issue. But complaining to your friends, that's just creating negative vibes floating around in the art room. And we don't want negative vibes floating around in the art room. We want it to be positive, enjoyable, relaxing environment. We're not going to be going,
Oh man, I hate this.
okay, so let's highlight. If there are things in art class you like, you can share those feelings with your table. If there are things you don't like about art class, please share those with Mrs. McFarland. Maybe she can help. And then you can highlight all of this. Now, what's the next rule? And this is the hand signal for act responsibly. Act responsibly. See, it's kind of an A. This is the hand motion for stay on task the whole time. I need to see you doing one of these 3 things while we're working. These are your options for your task. Okay, it says hands moving to follow the instructions. So I should see that. You're moving, you're following instructions. Or, let's read this one together. Ready? Thumbs twiddling to let me know you're making art decisions in your head. You might be wondering what twiddling is. You can see a little picture of it here. Let's all practice. So put your fingers together and then you just go like this with your thumbs. You just wiggle your thumbs around. So you can go in a circle or like this. And this is what we do when we're thinking. We're kind of just fidgeting with our thumbs. We're twiddling our thumb. In our lesson, you guys know, you guys get tons of options. You get to choose your background. You get to pick all sorts of stuff. If you're just like, you're not working, you're not twiddling your thumbs, and I'm gonna be like, are you okay? Oh, all right, highlight that. Your last option is that you're watching the video because you're trying to figure out what to do. So you highlight that, and then we can color all of this with our highlighter.
What's our next rule?
Yes. Good. Work and play safe. Use the supplies how Mrs. McFarland uses them. Okay. So bottom in your seat. Highlight that. And what does this say? Hands to self. Good. Highlight that. Now let's highlight this picture of this kid with his bottom in his seat and his hands to himself. Now you can skip this next little blurb. That's for the little guys.
You guys are big 3rd graders now.
So you can create while I am creating. So you can highlight that now and highlight the last picture. So while I'm working on something, then you'll be working on it. Our hands will be moving at the same time. And when it says use the supplies how Mrs. McFarland does, that doesn't mean your artwork has to look the exact same as mine. It means if I tell you to use the scissors on the paper to cut something, you're going to use the scissors on the paper to cut something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't get to decide,
Well, we got scissors out. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to give myself a haircut.
no, that's not what I'm doing with my scissors. Same thing with glue. If I get the glue out, I'm going to tell you and show you how I want you to use it. It doesn't mean our art is going to look the same, but we're using the tools the right way, the way that I've decided that we should use them.
Like, you're not allowed to, like, pour the glue out of the bottle.
That's not how we're using them. If you're like,
I have a really good idea of how to use this. It's not how you're using it.
turn your card red, and I'll come to you and you can give me your idea. And if your idea is okay, then I'll say, go for it. Last rule of working. The working is the biggest part of the class, so this is really important. What's the rule? Show respect. We are quiet or silent when we are working on art. So what I really want is for you guys to be able to be at a voice level 2, which is quiet table talk. I'm going to read this to you. Most students do not enjoy working in a loud environment, so if you talk, you need to do so quietly. Only the students at your table should be able to hear you. Highlight all of that. When I gave feedback forms at the end of last year, there was a question that said, what is something you don't like about art class? And a lot of kids wrote that it was too loud. So we need to really work on using our inside voices and talking quietly at our table. So this is a good voice level right here. We're not shouting loudly. It's not a recess voice. It's a quiet table talk voice. If we can't handle that, we're going down to whisper or we're going down to voice level 0.
Period.
It's the 4th part of art class. Cleaning. How do we use our hearts and be kind during cleaning? What does this say? Use your manners.
Good manners. Say please. Say thank you. Say excuse me.
Go ahead and highlight this, and you can color in all these shapes with your highlighter. When you are cleaning up, you have to get out of your seat to put the thing away back on the art supply shelf where you got it from. If somebody is in your way, you are going to wait patiently. What's the next rule? Act responsibly. Stay on task the whole time. You are going to start cleaning up right when instructed to. Highlight that. This is just like last year, 5 minutes before class is over. Actually, you have art at the end of the day, so we're going to need some extra time to clean up. My alarm is going to go off about 8 minutes before class is over. When you hear that timer, you start cleaning up. Let's read this together. Ready, set. Once you've finished your job, go to your area. So your area is the waiting room. Go ahead and highlight. You go to your waiting room seat. Waiting room seat matches your studio seat, just like last year. Walk to your waiting room seat when you're done cleaning up. The dogs at each table, letter D student, you are gonna have to stack chairs. What's the next rule? Work and play safe. Use the supplies how Mrs. McFarland does.
I love that song more than life.
So how are we gonna be safe with our hands and our feet? Walking feet. So we're not running.
Because there are too many things you can run into. Might knock something over and break it. Or you might run into someone and hurt them.
Hands off other students. This is not time to play. Just because it's the last 8 minutes of the school day, when it's time to clean up, does not mean it's time to start playing. We're not patty caking. We're not playing tag. And then you need to be gentle with the supplies.
We're not shoving boxes and shelves. We're not tossing crayons in cans.
Gentle with the supplies so that they last a long time.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Last roll. Ready, set, show respect. So, voice level 1, which is a whisper. If somebody at your table is like,
Hey, I forget where to put the pencils.
you can answer them in a whisper voice. It's not time to whisper about what we're doing after school or blah, blah, blah. Okay. What is the next part of our class? Walking to the waiting room. You can skip this here. And this is actually the exact same thing as entering into the room. If someone is in your seat, say,
Excuse me, I think this is my seat.
if that doesn't solve the problem, then come to me. And act responsibly is walk straight to your seat and sit down. So same thing here. You're not going to go to your friend first. You're not going to go to your friend first. You're not going to go to your friend first. You're going to go straight to your seat.
Do you understand that? Yeesh.
Okay. How are we going to work and play safe?
We use our walking feet.
And hands off other students.
It's best to keep your hands to yourself.
So just the same as this over here, really. Show respect. Start highlighting this as I talk. This cleaning time and walking to the waiting room and waiting time is my turn to talk. I have to make sure that everything is put away for the next class. I need to be able to look at the table and say,
You left your pencils out, so-and-so. Come put the pencils away.
you left the crowns out, so-and-so, come put the crowns away. So I'm going to be giving reminders to kids. Hey, I see you're in the waiting room. You thought you finished your job. You didn't. You need to come back and do it. Kids are going to be asking,
I don't know where my waiting room seat is.
so I'm going to have to help them find their waiting room seat. This is not the time to talk because I don't want to have to yell. If you do have something to say to me, sit in your seat, raise your hand once everything's put away, and I'm going to go through, and if your hand is up, I'm going to say, how can I help you? And that's when you can talk to me. So highlight all of that. Now, waiting times. I'm going to try to have a video on for you guys to watch while you're in the waiting room. So highlight this middle section here. And this rule is the same as it was during working time.
So it's just, if you like the video, you can tell your neighbor you like it. If you don't like the video, either don't say anything or wait till I come to you and then you can share your feelings with me about it.
You can say,
Hey, I don't like this video because of this.
and then I'll say,
That's good to know. I'll remember that and try to find videos that don't have that moving forward.
now act responsibly. What does it say for second and third graders? What's your task? Watching the video. What is second and third grades rule down here for work and play safe? Hands in lap, bottom, and seat.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
And then what does second and third grade say here? Let's read it together. Ready? Voice is off unless you are singing along or answering the video. Highlight that. The last part of class is exiting.
closing time.
When there's 1 minute left of class, the timer is going to go off again. So remember, it's time to clean up. The timer goes off when we clean up. And 1 minute before class, it's going to go off again. That means it's time to stand up. So highlight that. We're skipping a box. You'll follow the person in front of you. Highlight that. And you'll stand on the green footprints. Everybody has a set of green footprints to stand on. Stay in the right line order. It will take you right to your footprint. So for instance, if you're a yellow puppy dog, your footprint will also have a yellow puppy dog on it. Let's go back to practicing positivity. How can we be kind and have a big heart during this part of class? Well, if somebody's not paying attention, are we going to yell at them? If the person, like if you're trying to walk, but somebody's sitting and their legs are in your way, are you going to say,
Hey, she said to climb up.
that's not nice, is it?
No.
That's not being like a positive person. Using our manners.
Good manners. Say excuse me.
If a student is in front of you, isn't paying attention.
Excuse me, we are leaving. Please go.
Oh, and let's skip down here. So you're going to have walking feet facing forward. It's the same as when you came in. Hands folded at your sides or in your pockets. And let's skip down to here. Second and third grade, your lips are together. You don't need a bubble. Just lips together, just like over here, okay? And we're, of course, at a voice level 0, obviously, as you walk to your footprints. If your teacher's not there yet, I'm going to have you guys line up in the hallway. So you'll all have a specific spot in the hallway, too, in case your teacher's not there to pick you up. Put your cap on your highlighter, put your highlighter away, give yourself a pat on the back. I'm going to tell you guys about your jobs. Everybody's going to have different jobs, and we have a coloring sheet to go along with that. So really nice and relaxing. We're going to get to color with crayons. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.